I can't get over this, man. It's not so much that Brian Kelly and LSU beat Alabama, but it's more so of that Brian Kelly, in only his first year at LSU, is doing the impossible. I'm going to say it again. This program was left down to dry, and they're already competing for SEC championships. Whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, are you about to try to tell me that Brian Kelly and LSU beating Alabama, that's impossible? And no, I'm not. That's not the impossible. That's not why I'm making this video, so don't worry. I'm not going to bore you with that. Because let's just be frank and honest here. Alabama is not a great team this year. They're a good team. They're beatable. So I'm not here to try to proclaim that beating Alabama or beating Nick Saban is the impossible. However, with that being said, what Brian Kelly has done with LSU, what he has done in the past few months, it is dang near impossible. And I'm going to label it as impossible because I've had LSU fans reach out to me and say they didn't think it was possible. And you want to know what's really funny and ironic about all of this? I got a lot of heat in the offseason from Notre Dame fans when I said Brian Kelly, he couldn't even compete for a championship at Notre Dame. I tried telling everybody and warning them, Brian Kelly going to LSU, it wasn't a want to, it was a need to if you want to compete with the big dogs. He didn't have a choice. And let me make this clear. At Notre Dame, there's not even a chance, not to just win a championship, but even to compete in the playoffs. You saw it time after time after time. Notre Dame, whenever they played top tier competition, they got curb stomped. And I tried telling people it's not Brian Kelly's fault that he doesn't have the dudes to compete. And well, would you look how the tables have turned? You can't make this stuff up. You give Brian Kelly a couple 4- and 5-star recruits, he beats Nick Saban in his first year. We're going to talk all about that, and we're also going to talk about LSU's playoff chances. Yes, I said playoff chances in the overall top 5. Or maybe not the top 5, but my top 5 and what I think the college football playoff may look like. Does Clemson still have a shot? Is TCU better than Tennessee? Does Tennessee even deserve to be in there? We're going to talk about it. I'm so excited to get into this video. I'm not excited to see Alabama lose to LSU and Tennessee, but man, oh man, as an SEC fan, it's nice to see some parity. I can't be the only one who feels this way. I'm a diehard Bama fan. Y'all know how I am. But it's nice to see competitive games. It really is. I can't emphasize that enough. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut your crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the college football playoff. As most of us know or should know, the official rankings are going to come out on Tuesday. But I want to talk about my top 5 and everybody's top 4 or 5, top 6 or 7. It's going to be different, and that's okay. For me, I tweet this out. By the way, go follow me on Twitter. I love interacting with you guys. At number 1, this isn't obvious. I got Georgia. Number 2, controversial maybe, I got Tennessee, and let me explain that. Well, actually, let me go through the run-through. At 3, I got Ohio State, the Ohio State. At number 4, I got Michigan. And number 5, I got TCU. You may not agree with my order of top 5, but I think we can all agree on, okay, that's probably the top 5, however you want to rearrange it. LSU's not a top 5 team. USC, they're not a top 5 team. Alabama, of course, is no longer a top 5 team. Oregon's not a top 5 team. This is the clear-cut in top 5, and oh yeah, Clemson, they have no shot of making the playoff. I was going to make a strong argument and try to say that Clemson, even if they ran the table, shouldn't have been in the playoff, but we all know that would have been controversial. Anyways, getting back on topic with this, the reason I got Tennessee at number 2, and I know that's going to shock a lot of people, is because I don't have recency bias. And what I mean by recency bias is I don't overreact to what just happened like many other people do. Just because Tennessee lost handily, and they did lose handily to Georgia, I'm not going to overreact. Remember, they still beat LSU by 30, which is a top 8 team, and they beat, who else did they beat? My bad, I was drawing a blank. They beat Alabama. I know everybody's going to try to write off Alabama and say the dynasty's over, but beating Alabama is always a big-time win. Long story short, here's why I got Tennessee over Ohio State, and I was really close to putting Ohio State above Tennessee, but I didn't for this one reason. When it comes down to Tennessee and Ohio State, it's 2A, 2B. The reason I give Tennessee the edge is because they have a far better resume than Ohio State. Even if you're an OSU fan, you can agree with me on that. Ohio State, I'm going to give credit where it's always due. You've looked good, but I haven't seen it against a competition like Tennessee has played. Tennessee has beat not 1, but 2 current top 10 teams. So that's why I got Tennessee at 2. I got Ohio State above Michigan because if they play tomorrow, I'm probably picking Ohio State. And last but not least, I got TCU at 5 because 1, they haven't played anybody, and 2, it comes down to this. All 4 of the teams I got above TCU, I'd pick them to win in a neutral site game. That's what it boils down to me. I don't understand how people have TCU at number 3 or 4 because you know if Ohio State and TCU play tomorrow, you're picking Ohio State. If Michigan and TCU play tomorrow, more than likely 65 to 70% are going to pick Michigan. Trust me, I am the very last person on this planet to vouch for Ohio State and Michigan, and I think we all know that, but I'm still picking them to beat TCU. Come on, man. That is my top 5. It's a great debate. I also see that Oregon, it's looking like potentially they're going to have a shot and USC's going to have a shot. So we'll have to see what happens there. I'm very curious. Let me know your top 4, top 5, or top 10 teams in the comment section down below. Finally, though, moving on to the main topic of Man Encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about Brian Kelly and LSU. I just want to jump straight into things. So 2 days ago when Alabama lost to LSU, yeah, I know it sucked. I don't want to talk about it too much. I posted my live reaction. By the way, I appreciate all the support on that video. It seemed like you guys really enjoyed that, so maybe I'll do it some more. Moving along, though, on this video, I saw a comment. Shout out to Law V. His comment got over 50 likes, and I really liked it. What he commented, I already knew it, but for some reason, I kind of forgot about it. He stated, LSU had under 40 scholarship players when Brian Kelly was hired, and this is a true rebuilding year for LSU. Let me address that. Like I said, I knew it, but I kind of forgot about it. Do y'all remember this time last year, the state of that program that LSU was in? It was horrendous. I mean, let's be real here, LSU fans. It was a dumpster fire. It looked bad, and when I mean bad, I mean really bad, and in my humble opinion, there was only one guy that could save LSU, and it was Brian Kelly. There was a lot of great hires in the offseason, don't get me wrong, but LSU getting Brian Kelly, that was the best. What was everybody's knock on Kelly, though? Oh yeah, he did good at Notre Dame, had a bunch of 10-win years, but he can never win the big one. And I do get that argument, but at the same time, I'm a realist. I looked at the players that Notre Dame had. I'll put it this way, I don't want to rant on it too much. There wasn't a single chance in the world that Brian Kelly, with the talent that Notre Dame had and the players that go to Notre Dame, was going to beat your Alabamas, Ohio States, and Clemsons of the world. Yeah, maybe you'll get a win here and there, but it's 1 out of every 25 games. He didn't have the talent, and anybody and everybody that watched that game when Alabama destroyed Notre Dame in the championship, what was it, 10 years ago? You saw that in full effect. Y'all know what I'm talking about when Notre Dame had that Manti Te'o dude. Mr. Brian Kelly, at this current moment in time, is a dang good head coach. I can't call him a great one because he hasn't won a championship and I need to see a little more out of him, but he's a dang good one. To go on top of that, I also remember in the offseason, he made some controversial comments about Notre Dame not being able to get 4- and 5-star recruits, and that was holding him back. And what happened? Notre Dame fans ridiculed him and said, no, it's your fault we're losing the big-time games. I find that rather fascinating because ever since I started keeping up with college football as a kid, one thing I always thought of, one thing that was common knowledge to me is, hey, why would any 4- and 5-star recruit go to Notre Dame in the first place? This isn't the 1950s and 60s. Kids don't want to go to Notre Dame anymore. Whoa, hold on. I know what some of my Notre Dame fans are about to say. Well, Matt, we got a top 5 or top 10 recruiting class every year. And hey, maybe you do, but here's the difference. At LSU, Brian Kelly can get a top 2 recruiting class every year. What holds Notre Dame back is number 1, academics. That's a given. I don't have to say too much about that. These college football players, they're not going to LSU and Alabama to study. Let's just be real here. They're going to play football and make millions of dollars in the NFL, at least a handful of them. And number 2, last but not least, it's the same argument with Nebraska. Nobody wants to play in that sloshy and cold weather. I don't care what you say. That's a recruiting advantage of the SEC. It's warm. It's nice weather. And I already know somebody's going to run to the comments. Well, Matt, what about Ohio State? It's cold up there. And well, I hate to break the news to you, my friend, but Ohio State's different. Yes, it may be cold at Ohio State, but they don't care about academics like Notre Dame does. I just wanted to bring back up that argument because I remember talking about it in the offseason and people said I was delusional. Anyways, getting back on with this comment, sorry for the rant. Pretty dang impressive the progress BK, which is Brian Kelly, has made so far in beating Saban his first year in Baton Rouge. Bama wasn't itself last year either. They struggled several times in the regular season, but they still beat a dominant-looking Georgia team convincingly in the SEC championship game and made it to the Natty game even if Georgia got revenge. 100% right on the last part of the comment, and by the way, thank you for it. But it's the second part to the comment that I want to address. Pretty dang impressive the progress that Brian Kelly has made so far. Impressive? No. I think that's an understatement because check out this comment. I still can't believe LSU won. This LSU team this year has my heart, man. Go Tigers. Yeah, that's about how every LSU fan feels. Nobody thought, even LSU fans going into this game, you were going to beat Alabama this year. Maybe next year, but not this year. There's a reason all my LSU fans are like, man, I can't believe we won. It's because it's dang near impossible. Going back to this comment once again, in the offseason, everybody was leaving LSU. Remember Eli Ricks, your 5-star cornerback? He left LSU. That program was left out to dry. They had 40 players on scholarship. Why did I say it like that? Scholarship. And look at where they're at now. I want y'all to really think about this. LSU can go to the college football playoff. If they win out, if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, they're getting in. That's not my quote-unquote humble opinion. That's a cold hard fact. If you win out from this point on and you beat the number one team in the country, unanimous number one team in the country, oh yeah, you're getting in. Especially with all this chaos going on, it's not even going to be close. I know what some people may try to bring up. Well, Matt, they lost to Tennessee by 27 points. Oh, Matt, they lost to Florida State early on in the season. Well, that's early on in the season. That's not your final form. Remember, it's how you finish, not how you start. As far as it goes for a loss to Tennessee, who cares? Tennessee was really hot and LSU played a bad game. There's no difference from losing 40-13 or like Alabama did, 52-49. You still lost. And Tennessee fans, you better watch your mouth because Georgia beat you is just as bad as you beat LSU. Last but not least, we'll send the video off with this. As most of you know if you watched my preview video, I was off with about 98% of my predictions on week 10. But one of the areas I was right was the LSU and Alabama game. I said LSU and Jay Daniels, they was going to give Bama problems. I actually said it weeks before the game. I tweeted this out 2 weeks before the game. That LSU-Alabama game in 2 weeks is going to be more interesting than what most people think. Jaden Daniels will give that Bama defense problems. You heard it here first. At least I was right about something, and I can't even feel too good about it because it's common sense. Notice how I never said Alabama for sure was going to win this game. I knew it was going to be close because of Jaden Daniels. I knew it was going to be close because Brian Kelly, when given 4- and 5-star recruits, he can play with anybody. But still, it's Brian Kelly's first year. Why did I really think it was going to be close? It comes down to this. Alabama simply ain't that great. They're good, not great. What's the recipe to beat Nick Saban? I'm not going to go over all of it, but a big part of it is having a dual threat quarterback similar to Jaden Daniels. He may not be the best passer ever to beat Nick Saban, but when it comes to running, he's up there with the best of them. I can't get over this, man. It's not so much that Brian Kelly and LSU beat Alabama, but it's more so of that Brian Kelly, in only his first year at LSU, is doing the impossible. I'm going to say it again. This program was left down to dry, and they're already competing for SEC championships. What a job that Kelly has done there. Who cares what happens in the rest of this season? He's already exceeded expectations for many people. I am very curious, though. Let me know your thoughts down below. But